What's going on, people? It's your boy Mac Attack, back at it again with some more boxing news, views, and opinions. Today I want to talk about the reason why people call out Errol Spence and not Terrence Crawford. Now, that should tell you a lot right there about, them being grouped together as far as being peers and them being on a collision course for a super fight is one thing. But when you really take a step back and you separate them, you see that what they have accomplished in their divisions and in the last few years is worlds apart. So you have people on Terrence Crawford's side and they try to say, nobody ever calls out Terrence Crawford. Nobody says Terrence Crawford's name. Meanwhile, you have people like Gervonta Tank Davis and Errol Spence Jr. in particular. You got people calling Errol Spence out 154. You had people at 135 calling him out. People at 140 calling him out. The reason why is the prestige. You have to look at it like this. Like I said, let's separate them, right? So I'm coming into the welterweight division. I'm getting a shot at Bud Crawford or I'm getting a shot at Errol Spence. Now, when I get that shot at Bud Crawford, let's say I win, what do I get? I get the WBO belt. I get the weakest competition of all the sanctioning bodies in the WBO. WBO, I always call those the other guys. You know what I mean? So yeah, you get that set of other guys that you fight. All those guys that you be wondering where they came from, all these machines, Blue Machine, Mean Machine, all these generic name dudes and all that. And by the way, WBO, it's well known that that's a top rank belt. And top rank, like I say, their promotion is just a foreign fight farm. They just do discount foreign fights and try to get people to support the fighter from the fighter's country based on cultural pride. So, Now, Terrence Crawford, he's been sitting on that belt for 5 years, 6 years, that one belt. And he's not going after any other titles. There's only one person in this division with all the titles. So if he was actually going after titles and he could fight anybody he wants to fight and he's the best fighter in the world, he would go after those 3 titles that the other guy has, right? But Terrence Crawford already stated that, he's more concerned about, his legacy being secured or being seen as being secured from his past, not from anything he's trying to do currently. And his whole thing about Errol Spence is that, well, I was undisputed at 140. This is your chance to be undisputed if you fight me. So until you fight me, you can't be this, you can't be that. So he's looking at what victories. Terrence Crawford is looking at what victories he can get by just blocking Errol Spence's prestige. He's not looking at, I want to get in the ring and do this and do that, because when that time came and went and, was made very problematic. Now, on the other hand, Errol Spence Jr., he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that right now he's looking like Al Heyman's, right-hand fighter. So that right there is going to get you the hate. He has a legend about him giving Mayweather his hardest sparring and even giving him a black eye. So that right there is going to cause the prestige right there. And that right there is going to give you some notoriety, but it's also going to come with some hate, and high expectations. I remember at one point when a lot of the younger fighters were calling out Floyd, he was directing them to Errol Spence. Like Keith Thurman, he was saying, you need to beat Errol Spence first. Keith Thurman was like, give me $10 million, son, and I'll fight him then, Floyd. If you want me to fight Spence, give me $10 million. And he was more worried about, at that time, Keith Thurman was more worried about what Crawford is worried about, just blocking Errol Spence's opportunity, right? So, get to a point now where Spence, he hunted down those champions, got his belts, said it's strap season, and he went after belts. Didn't take too many tune-ups and stuff like that. So, right now, it's like Errol Spence, his run is hot. His name is hot. And, his prestige is high. His resume at 147 is a prestigious resume. he fought the guys that Terrence Crawford fought first when they were champions, not years later when they were almost retired. And, he won. He's undefeated. And people call him out because, his name, I look at it like this. Next to Floyd Mayweather, for a while when Floyd was around and after he retired, the name you seen every day in boxing media was Floyd Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather. Today, I feel like it's Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence did this. Errol Spence did that. Errol Spence sneezed. Errol Spence coughed. And everybody, and it's not just with the people either, it's with the fighters as well. So I think they don't look at themselves gaining any prestige by fighting Bud. For example, look who just fought Bud, David Avanesian. What did that do for his career? Like it didn't do anything for him. And it's not the fact that how he fought or anything like that. It's just the fact that what did he do prior to fighting Bud, And then he fights Bud and Bud knocks him out like he does, all the caliber opponents he chooses to fight, and it's business as usual. So I don't think that certain fighters are even looking at themselves as even being able to get a fight with Bud if they're too challenging. Because Bud stated he's done enough in the sport. So, but we will see how this whole thing plays out. He's supposed to be fighting Rocha. They mandated it, and we know he'll ride those mandatories into the sunset before he fight Errol Spence. So that's what it is, y'all. That's all I got for y'all today, man. And remember, you play games, but you can't play boxing. I'm gone, y'all.
Right hand on top.